Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to UndercoverET. How are you doing, guys? It's been a long while, hasn't it? Been a few weeks. I feel like I haven't done a video in forever. There are several reasons as to why I took a break away from doing videos. I could have done them early morning or late night. We've obviously had a heat wave here, but I chose to step back and just take a little while to try and do what I needed to do. A few weeks ago, unfortunately, I had a bit of bad luck. My car was vandalised after a football game, and it literally cost me £1,000 the next day to get back on the road. And since then, I've been chasing my tail, trying to get back to where I was. It's been very difficult. I'm nearly there, but at the same time, I'm no longer doing the circles video. I'm no longer recording that event because I simply just cannot find the time to do it. I need to get myself back on track. So that's what it's cost me in reality. We did go to Wales though, which was great. So like I said, I managed to get the car in time. The next week it was a Wales trip. It's taken me 3 hours to transfer all the files this morning. So I will be looking at it, guys. But yeah, it's been really up and down, and I can only apologize for not getting videos out. I will explain after the review of Disclosure Date, the real reason as to why I haven't posted every other day, because there is more reasons as to why it hasn't happened, but I don't want to get into it right now. I really want to just get into Disclosure Day. I want to do the review. I want your opinions, because finally I've seen the movie, so I'd love to know what you guys thought. Who was your best actor, actress? What was your best scene? Were there any moments in the film that really caught your attention that you thought, wow, this is awesome, you know, this is something that could really happen? Let me know all your thoughts. I must say, it's thrown me off a little bit. I thought there would be certain aspects of that film that would sort of lead to something else, and it didn't, you know. So it was a bit of a surprise from me, but was I disappointed? Not really. I felt like it was a good movie. But look, without further ado, I think we should get into it. Like and subscribe. As always, we need your support. Support the public's evidence. Support disclosure. Let's go. All right, guys, so here we are. We've got the movie. I've got the main actors and actresses up right now. Emily Blunt plays Margaret Fairchild. Josh O'Connor plays Dr. Daniel Kellner. Colin Firth plays Noah Scanlon. Eve Hewson plays Jane Blankenship. And Coleman Domingo plays Hugo Wakefield. These are the 5 main characters in the movie. And you can see there, Mr. E.T. below pops out at the end. Look, guys, we were all excited about this for several months. It finally came out, and I'm going to give you my opinion right now. So I like the fact that the movie started with a very normal event, okay? The guy that they were looking for was in the crowd, and he was just watching a normal wrestling match, okay? So they started the movie with something very normal, very sort of everyday, and it doesn't take long before the action starts, which I think is really good. There's many movies where the build-up takes too long, you know. At least in this movie, something is happening straight away. So they get hold of the man they want, who's stolen the information, and from there, they meet up with Jane, who's also already been captured. And so the next scene, this is where we get Margaret Fairchild, the first scene, okay? She's again, very normal day. She's just talking to her partner in her apartment until something flies through the window, and you've all seen that scene, guys, in the trailer. So guys, this is the scene. As you know, when watching the trailer before the film came out, I really thought that consciousness had spread across all animals, and this is what this scene was portraying, right? No. Turns out this is actually an ET dressed up as a bird, so that we're not scared when we see it. It flies through the window, makes eye contact with Margaret, and shit, it activates Margaret's ability to know everything about everyone just by looking at them. That's flipping insane. That thought itself is crazy. Like, if we had that, there would be no crime. There would be no crime at all, because we would instantly know who did it, or who was going to do it, and why they were going to do it. You see what I mean? And I think that's a really, really important aspect of this film, because everyone always says, well, you know, if we get given the technology, we'll destroy ourselves. We'll destroy the planet. We'll just start destroying other beings. Well, the human race is a bit reckless, absolutely. But if we have this sort of thought process, once we've been activated, no one in the world will be able to do anything without us knowing about it. And therefore, we may actually get peace, 100% peace across the planet, if we all had this activation. And it was worth, as soon as I saw it, I was like, what would be the impact? And that would be the impact, guys. So really, really interesting point. And this is what gets me excited about disclosure, because somewhere along the lines, we will evolve past superstition, past need, past greed. And I think this is the right path, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. So, Birdo is on the table. Partner is just laughing because he's like, that's brazen, that's cute. I can't believe that's just flown through the window. And Margaret is just completely blown away. She's going through an experience right now. Her partner doesn't realise it. I thought the scene was really good for that reason. I can actually relate to this because 90% of people that I speak to that aren't involved in this topic, this is how they would react, and that's how I would react, you know? I've had people ask me, Rob, are ETs real? And I'm like, yeah, I've got recordings of them, straight-faced, and they're just smiling as if to say, yeah, right. And I'm like, what? I have. And so this, again, just I can relate to this. If something like that was to happen with me and my family in the room, I'd be Margaret and my family would be that guy. So look, I thought it was pretty awesome. But from this moment, something activates in her and she starts talking like Russian or something. Her partner has not got a clue what's going on, but she starts talking Russian. And sure enough, when she gets into the studio, she's going to interview a Korean guy. She starts talking Korean and her colleagues are like, what the hell? You know, what the hell is going on? So at this point, Margaret's left her husband. She's gone to work. She's running a bit late and instantly crazy stuff starts happening. Okay, so she looks at her colleague, which is the makeup artist, and she just tells her straight, you need to tell the authorities about your partner, go to your sisters, whatever she says. And it turns out at the end of the movie, her assistant is actually getting abused by her partner, and she doesn't say it. Margaret just knows it just by looking at her, and that's all part of the activation from that ET bird-looking thing, right? So yeah, instantly this film gets good quickly, guys, and that's what I love about it. We all know this scene is the whole thing. Guys, I love this scene. I thought it was awesome. I also believe that, you know, disclosure to the world something like this may need to happen, right? So something crazy may need to happen on air in order for people to even tweak and go, you know what, there's something else. And then from there, they need to be convinced. There's a lot of people out there that would just laugh at you saying alien or UFO or ET. They would just laugh because they're just not on board, guys. But if something like this was to actually happen, I'm fairly sure that soon after, people may take you half seriously, at least, you know. So that's why I like this scene. I thought it was awesome. And obviously it freaked out everyone in the studio. They didn't know what to make of it. They didn't know what the hell was going on. And it was almost comical. But at the same time, it's like this is going to be the harsh reality check that people are going to experience when this eventually comes out. All right, guys. So this is where Noah starts using non-human intelligence tech to contact the people he's trying to find. You could say this was remote viewing, but it's remote viewing using technology which enables the person in the room to actually see them and talk to them. Not only that, he's actually able to control the person, which is quite freaky. And it begs the question, right? It begs the question. These guys are chasing someone with an artifact that is dangerous, you could say. And they can't allow that artifact to fall into the wrong hands for obvious reasons. But at the same time, the techniques they're using to find the artifact is dangerous. So we wouldn't feel comfortable with someone out there with an artifact that can literally go into your mind, see what you're seeing and control you. It wouldn't be acceptable, right? Unless everyone could do it. And that to me is quite remarkable. Remote viewing, being able to see something in another part of the world from where you are is one thing. Especially if you can go back in time or forward in time, that would be pretty cool, right? But to be able to control someone in that moment is hella freaky. And I really hope that no one has that technology right now. But I've got a funny feeling it's out there already and governments are using it. And that's scary. That's a scary thought. Obviously, he's able to control Jane in this scene. And yeah, I was like, wow, you know, if that exists, that's a problem for humanity right there. And we've already seen news clips of people talking in the background whilst the news reporter's talking, like they're being given the words from someone else. It's really quite scary, guys. Whether this is a real thing or not, I don't know for sure, but I'm telling you now, ET technology exists and it is exquisite, guys. It's exactly like Donald Trump says, but he just hasn't openly admitted that what they're using is from another planet or from another race. It's crazy, guys. It's crazy. And honestly, I love how they put this movie together, because like most people that would even slightly believe in God, she's freaking out because she's being controlled by another man in a completely different space to her, and she doesn't know what the hell is going on. So she turns to religion, guys. You can see her, she's got the cross in her mouth. She starts praying. She's wondering what the hell is going on with her, right? But she knows something freaky is happening. She's already been told that there's government secrets they're trying to release. It's pretty freaky stuff. But this is exactly what people would do. They would turn to religion or some kind of faith to understand what the hell is going on. And that's why I like this scene. I thought it was a very real reaction, something we would expect people to do. Okay, so we're going to jump towards the end in a little bit here, guys, because the main part of the video is action-packed. They're trying to find the two people that they need. They're trying to find the artifact. It's quite an action-packed movie, a great storyline, I thought. But towards the end, my spidey senses kicked in just a wee bit, because this scene kind of solidifies my concerns that I've brought up many times over the past 2 years. And so this scene, Jane is a little girl, okay? They've recreated her house. She's trying to think back as to what happened, because in order to have control of what's been activated inside her from that ET bird, she needs to understand what happened on the night of her first experience, because apparently when they were kids, they had an experience which gave them a gift, but the gift hadn't been triggered yet. It triggered later on in life. So she's now trying to remember her childhood to see if she can find out what happened, which will trigger that gift that she's been given. And the reason why I bring this scene up is because it's Hansel and Gretel's house, okay? The ETs themselves are a bird, a raccoon, and a deer. And what Hugo says in the film is that they portray themselves to look neutral to us so that we don't get scared. And this has been a big concern of mine for many, many years. We're dealing with extraterrestrial intelligence, potentially, certainly non-human intelligence, right? We know, if you're watching the channel and been watching for some time, we know they have advanced technology, okay? It's clearly on camera. We don't possess anything that can move in the way that these objects are moving, right? So I know that they are highly advanced, and my major concern is, how do we know that what we're seeing is not AI? You know, if you can imagine AI now, today, it's very hard to tell from some videos what's AI and what's not, especially if you don't know what you're looking for. Just imagine that technology a million years advanced. We wouldn't know what the hell we're looking at. And I feel like this movie portrays that technology very, very well. They think they're looking at something that could potentially be harmful, but looks harmless. And in reality, when she eventually gets into the property, into the house, Hansel and Gretel's house of all houses, she's met with ETs, you know. So they've literally got her in there, convinced her by looking like something else so that she felt comfortable. And then when she got in there, she realised that she was there for a reason. Okay, so Kellner and Margaret are going through this experience together, okay? Kellner is on another table just next to her, and he's freaking out. And naturally, he'd be freaking out because there is an ET now looking down on these children, and they are ready to do their activation process. These kids don't know what's going on, obviously, but this makes the film even more compelling for me, because it just shows that they're using technology to make us believe what they want us to believe, right? And whether it be for the greater good or whether it be for control, this is my concern, guys. This is my concern. But I feel like the movie actually portrays that very well without saying it word for word. Anyway, once the activation is complete, they know what they need to do. Okay, so they go down to the newsroom. They want to tell the world. They've got the information. They've got the video. And they release it to the public, guys. And it just goes out on every single news station. And this is where, actually, I almost got a bit emotional. Not because not because of the way the actors were. They did a great job. I kind of got emotional at this point because this is something I really would love to see from my own TV station. Like, I'd love to see the news pop up and say, you know what? We're not alone. Here's the evidence. This is where we need to get to. We need humanity to get to this stage. Now, the footage itself that they played to the public, I thought was more than enough. If the news stations in this world decided to play such footage, most people would be on board. You'd still get a few people that are like, come off it. That can't be real. But most people would be on board. And I feel like the government have footage like this. They must do. They must have really clear evidence. And they're just holding it back, which is why you've got sources coming left, right and centre, not giving any actual evidence, but giving a lot of testimony, which, to be honest, I'm getting sick of. We've got UAP evidence in the form of a video. That's all we should need in order to put more pressure on the governments to release more stuff. And I don't know why people aren't taking that angle. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, really, really interesting how the movie just came out with so much military footage to show everyone. And this is kind of how I would expect it to go down. If someone was going to take over a news station, they would just release everything that they could. And so yeah, awesome. I don't think that it would be possible for us to walk into a news station and do this without some kind of telepathic powers. But it is what it is, guys. That's what makes the movie a movie. I really like this scene as well, guys. So whilst they've disclosed everything to the world and they're playing these videos, this reporter shows her humanity, okay? She starts tearing up. She starts apologizing to the audience for what they're actually seeing, because she recognizes that this is borderline cruelty. You know, this is not humane, what we're doing here. And also an element of shock as well, that there's something else out there. I love how they've portrayed the legs and feet of this ET, because this looks very, very similar to the shapes we were seeing in the saucer that was captured in Oklahoma from Ben. It looks scarily similar, guys, scarily similar. Although this one's got longer legs, and the being in the saucer that we captured had shorter legs, it certainly looked like this. They didn't look like they had the normal muscle that we would have around our legs, and they look a little bit deformed as well. And I suspect it's because generally they don't walk anymore. They know how to tackle gravity. That will increase age. The longer that they're alive, the more they're going to learn, etc, etc. So that's just where I'm at. But yeah, I felt this was just a really emotional scene, and I feel like if something like this was played to the public, that's the sort of reaction that normal, respectful humans would give, to be honest with you. Yeah, really well put together. And I remember thinking when I watched the video, releasing all them files wouldn't necessarily be enough for the whole world. Okay, we would need more. They'd need more than just footage to convince everyone. And then somehow, out of the blue, Hugo pulls out an ET. Like he just had him in storage or something. It's flipping madness. Absolute madness. They didn't need to get Margaret or Kellner or any of those people to make this happen. They just needed to pull out this guy. Okay, but at the same time, they did need Margaret to get into the studio that she worked in. She was there using her mind control to convince everyone to just let her do what she wants, right? So yeah, in essence, they did need her to get onto the stage. But once you've got an ET, you don't need much. That's your clearance right there. You turn up at the front door with one of them, that's your clearance. So look, a few grey areas in the movie. I'm glad they ended on something more compelling than just video. To roll out an ET at the end, I thought was awesome. And yeah, obviously there's question marks, like where the hell did it come from? Where did you keep it? Like, too many questions, right? But it's a movie, so we'll take it with a pinch of salt. The way they kind of ended this was really strange. So the ET is propped upright so that he could have, I believe, a conversation with Kellner and Margaret. And like, it's really cool because when he does communicate with Kellner, you're just hearing the again. So clearly that's how they talk. Kellner can fully understand what the alien is saying because he's been activated, okay? Margaret, on the other hand, she knows everything just by looking at you, and she can communicate with everyone fluently without even trying, but she doesn't understand the language, which is crazy, right? So Kellner has to tell Margaret, this is what the ET just said, and Margaret just actions what she's been told. And the movie ends in a really strange way, guys. And to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed how the movie ended, okay? But at the same time, I feel like there may be a message here. So once the ET communicates with Kellner, Kellner leans over and tells Margaret what was said. She then walks off to the camera, suspense starts, and she just says one word: listen. And that's it. End of the movie. And I felt like that was probably a bad way to end the movie, but maybe there's a hidden message here. What does she mean when she says listen? Do we all need to listen intently to something other than the media? I don't know. I don't know what the hidden message is here. I know that the topic revolves around frequency and vibration, something we could probably hear. Up in the air, guys. You're going to have to let me know your thoughts in the comments. I felt the movie was actually very, very good. Like I said, there was a few grey areas. I'm going to rate it though. I'm going to rate it out of 10. 10 being really good, 0 being really bad. And I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because we didn't have to wait for the action to start. Some of the parts in it was actually very cool, very realistic in a sense that if that happened, you would expect the reaction to happen like it did. I felt like it was well put together. 2.5 hours. I would have watched it if it was 3, to be honest. I felt like we could have ended this in a slightly different way, but it was long enough. It was long enough, guys. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was done very well. Couple of mixed bag emotions included. We really would love to see this happen in real life, guys, obviously. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. It's been a really, really good watch, and maybe there'll be a number 2. Who knows? Maybe this is just going to play out in real life now, and by 2030 we'll have a better idea of what's going on. All right, guys, so that is the end of today's video. You're probably wondering why Jude Bellingham is on the screen right now. I just wanted to touch on this because this really hit home to me. Okay, I am seriously sad about what happened the other night. England got to the semi-final. I felt like Argentina held back quite a bit, and then when they turned it on, there was nothing we could do. I don't necessarily blame the manager. I felt like he gave the players enough time to try and change it round, and he felt like he just had to go with a gamble or full defence at 77 minutes or whenever it was. I personally wouldn't have made that change. If you go full defensive against a team like Argentina, the chances are they will get one back, if not more. And unfortunately, they got the 2. They got enough to end it within the 90 minutes. We wouldn't have survived extra time. They were all knackered. They had no structure to them. I don't know if we would have survived. So whilst it was a bad decision to put the subs in the position they did and change the formation around and put 5 at the back, I felt like we were up against it anyway. And although he was taking a gamble, may have made the wrong choice, we could have lost that so many different ways. So yeah, that's why I bring that up, guys. I want to congratulate the team for getting into the semi-final and for obviously keeping us hopeful throughout the whole tournament. You guys seriously did well. What I will say is at the end of the game, the Argentine team really tarnished their reputation by bringing up the Falklands Islands, right? Guys, Argentina didn't even exist when the Falkland Islands were first formed. And so they can't claim it as theirs when it was taken over before they were even a country. I'm not too sure why the team are getting so political and pushing this during a football tournament. Football has got nothing to do with politics, nothing. And I hope FIFA give all the people that were holding that flag a 5-match ban. I really do, because they don't deserve to play for the team on the biggest stage in the world after doing that. They really don't. Look, Argentina beat us fair and square. It was a rough game. They were a bit dirty, but that's to be expected in a high stakes tournament. And we needed to bring that lion out, right? But when they get political after the win, that's where they need to get punished, I feel. So yeah, look, guys, I don't understand this world. I don't understand why everything is politicised. And part of me is sick to death of it, to be honest with you. Sick to death of it. That's my thoughts on it. I hope you enjoyed the review. And I'm going to be back in the next few days to go over some of my Wales clips. And hopefully someone out there can send me some compelling evidence, because I need to see some, guys. Let me know your thoughts on all of it, guys. Thank you very much for your time. Take care. All the best. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye for now.